Hello, my name is Joseph Avila-Rey, and today I will be presenting my field hockey sports analysis. I will be focusing on the physiological and biomechanical demands of the sport, some important injury considerations, and then a change of direction conditioning workout that matches what field hockey players actually do in matches. Field hockey is played with 11 players on the field per team, and matches are split into four quarters of 15 minutes. One important part of the sport is that there are unlimited substitutions allowed, with the only exception being with penalty corners until they are complete. This matters because this allows players to maintain higher intensities throughout the match, as opposed as if they were to be in the pitch the entire time. The main positional groups are defenders, midfielders, and forwards, and each of those roles have different physical demands, especially for running intensity and high-speed work. Field hockey is a high-intensity intermittent sport that is built around short, hard bursts of movements mixed in with lower intensity phases. In international men, the average total distance reported was around 4,861 meters per match, with about 25% of that distance being classified as high-speed running and 8% being classified as sprinting. In elite international women, relative distance was reported around 107 meters per minute, with movement being split across low, moderate, and high intensities. The low intensities were reported to make up about 41.6%, with moderate intensity making up 47.9 and high intensity making up 9.9% of the activity. These are some of the averages in the sport, but they do not show worst case scenario situations. Worst case scenarios in the research papers were classified as 1 minute peak periods, in which there would be higher than match average intensities recorded, and these would arise during the occasional attacking opportunities and transitional defense. One issue I came across while examining these studies is that they do not have the same definitions for speed or thresholds. For example, the James paper used one set of thresholds for the international men, while the Powell paper used different speed intensities to define their level of work. Because of this, the two studies can make the sport look more or less speed dependent based on the thresholds they decided to use. Despite this, I would say that the main takeaway is not to hyperfixate on the number itself, but the fact that hockey includes a meaningful amount of high speed running and sprinting. Field hockey is a very biomechanically demanding sport due to players constantly having to accelerate, decelerate, change direction, and reaccelerate again. On top of that, they often have to do it while staying in low posture during dribbling, receiving, or defending. This creates repeated loading at the ankle, knee, hip, groin, hamstrings, lower back, and even the shoulders and wrists due to the stick. So the sport is not just about covering distance, but it's also about how much force the body has to absorb and produce during these repeated movement actions. Here are some of the positional differences I've noticed. Defenders usually spend the longest time on the field and may cover larger total distances, but they usually do at lower relative intensities. Midfielders tend to have the highest work rate overall because they are heavily involved in transition. Forwards usually have the shortest playing durations, but they show the highest relative intensities because they do more short explosive runs and repeated high effort sprints. The most common injuries in field hockey are lower limb injuries, most common around the knee, ankle, hamstring, hip, groin, and lower back regions. Some of the modifiable factors include poor sprint mechanics, poor acceleration and deceleration ability, poor change of direction mechanics, low tissue tolerance to repeated cutting and lunging, and big weekly spikes in running or high speed exposure. I will now be going over a designed workout for field hockey athletes. I decided to focus on a change of direction conditioning workout because field hockey movement is short, fast, and multidirectional. Players are constantly accelerating, braking, cutting, and recovering across all four quarters. So the goal of this workout is to improve repeated change of direction ability, deceleration control, reacceleration while under fatigue. The three exercises I decided to include are the T-test, the L drill, and the change of direction line jump with outside hand touch. The first exercise, the T-test, which combines forward sprinting, lateral shuffle, and backwards movement in one drill. The main qualities being trained are change of direction conditioning, lateral shuffle ability, deceleration, reacceleration, and postural control. The targeted adaptations are better repeatability of change of direction efforts and better control of center of mass when switching between sprinting, shuffling, and backpedaling. Set it up as 4 reps, which should take about 9 to 11 seconds of work with 60 to 90 seconds of rest. The second drill is the L drill, which focuses more on tighter turns and shorter aggressive directional changes. This is useful for field hockey players, especially the ones who are in attacking positions during their counterattacks. The main qualities being trained are change of direction conditioning, shifting the center of mass on tight turns, and reaccelerating out of cuts. The targeted adaptations are better control during sharper turns, better efficiency entering and exiting those turns, and a better tolerance to repeated short change of direction efforts. It is set up as 4 reps, which should take 6 to 8 seconds of work with 60 to 90 seconds of rest. The third drill, known as the change of direction line jump with touch on the outside hand, focuses on short reactive lateral redirections, which is useful to field hockey players who are defenders or attackers. The qualities being trained are change of direction conditioning, lateral quickness, and reactive foot placement. The targeted adaptations are better tolerance to repeated short redirections, better body control while lowering the center of mass, and better foot placement and rhythm. The setup is 4 reps with 30 seconds of work with 2 minutes of rest time. This is the end of the presentation of the field hockey analysis. These are the references that I used to put together this presentation in the description. listing all these same references with links provided. So feel free to visit them in your own time. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good one.